10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All systems go.
You're listening to Sudbury News Talk.
I want to show you.
Stand by.
On the morning shift.
Anything
Could happen.
Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.
And good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift. I'm AJ Walsh. Welcome to my combobulated beginning of the show, probably the most combobulated beginning to the show we have ever had, I think, in the history of Sudbury News Talk. We have not had such a discombobulated beginning to the show ever. And today, I guess you always have to have something to set the bar, and today definitely was that day. We set the bar for sure. All to do with an audio wire, just an audio cable that was used in a different way. One of the times that we had a show recently, and so today that cable was not in the same place, and so it made for a really interesting beginning to the show. However, we're still here, and we're still pretty much on the same schedule as we've been. We are actually going to be off to a bit of an earlier schedule today, but it is what it is. August 1st, July's gone. July is no more. It's behind us, and it's history, as they say. So there's no more August. There's no more July. August is upon us. It's August 1st, Friday. Thank goodness, because and long weekend. So Monday's a holiday. And with that, we won't be having a show on Monday as it is a holiday, and trying to take as much time as possible to recharge the batteries, as they say. We're live on CKLU 96.7 FM on the radio, terrestrial radio. We're also streaming live at cklu.ca on the internet. So while you're there, just click on the Radio Player Canada app, and you can stream us. If you download it, you can take us with you and listen to us anywhere, anytime on your favorite device. And so we're also streaming live at facebook.com/Sudbury News, youtube.com/Sudbury News. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, follow the channel and the page. It'll be live, and then afterwards it'll be on demand after the show. Also on x.com/Sudbury News and Sudbury.news, which is our local news aggregator, aggregating all the local news into one convenient webpage. And that's that, as I see one of my monitors are just crashing in front of me this morning. But it is what it is. We're going to have a great show. We're going to start off with some weather. We got there's a lot of headlines, boy. We could have a 2-hour show just on local news. All the local journalists, I think they're trying to get in enough stories to last them for the whole long weekend so they can go off and have a long weekend. I've never seen so many stories coming in one early morning. So that's what I think is going on. So there's lots to cover if we want to just go through all the headlines. And make sure to comment. We'll do our best to get your comments up on the screen for those watching, read for those listening. And let's dive in with a little bit of weather. We'll be back after this. And Sudbury weather brought to you by sudburyweather.ca, as usual. And it's 9 degrees currently. Mainly sunny, apparently. And it is. Today, we can expect it to be mainly sunny, but increasing cloudiness in the morning. Local smoke late this afternoon. Wind becoming southwest 20 kilometers late this morning. High of 23, UV index 6 or high. Clearing this evening, local smoke with local smoke, low of 12. And then for tomorrow, a mix of sun and cloud, 30% chance of showers in the afternoon with a risk of thunderstorm. Local smoke. You know, it didn't look like the forecast that we were talking about for like a few days, you remember? It was sunny and sunny and sunny and sunny. Doesn't look like that anymore. So what goes on with these particular weather forecasts, and why do they change so much, and why are we looking at thunderstorms now, increasing cloudiness today and thunderstorms? Well, there's a 30% chance, right? Then the one day they're saying sunny is Sunday. Every other day now has a 30% chance of showers on Monday. Mix of sun and cloud for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, all in your mid-20s. So everything's mid-20s. That's your Sudbury weather, brought to you by SudburyWeather.ca. As I have a computer crashing in front of me before my eyes, I'll have to restore it if possible. And that's what I'm dealing with over here. So looks like we're back up and running, and we'll be back right after this. All right. Thanks for sticking around. Thanks for being with us on this Friday, August 1st edition of Sudbury News Talk, as I don't know why that particular page opened out of all the pages that could possibly open. Let's see. I got my handy dandy keyboard here. We'll see what happens when I do that. And yeah, well, I got a totally new refreshed screen here, which is great. Get our web page up here, our Facebook page, so we can see how many bright, shiny faces we have on the show. And while we do that, let's get some morning shout outs in. This might be from the last discombobulated beginning, but good morning, Northern Hillbilly, Marianne. Good morning, everyone from Barrie. You're back in Barrie, Marianne. Liking and sharing as usual. Thanks for being on. And Holly, good morning from Timiskaming Shores. Wow. So you're on the morning we had to have like a false start on our show. First false start we've ever had after 8 years of doing this. Okay. Glad Signal is back. Thank you, Marianne and Nana. Good morning. Blessings, everybody. Heart emoji. Brian, good morning to you. Belinda, good morning. Everything will look okay in the end. It's not okay. If it's not okay, it's not the end. Triple heart emoji. Everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And it's true. Like a lot of the things that we worry about when time goes on, think about the things you were worrying about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, right? They're not there anymore. It's interesting. If you go back to when you were a kid, the things you were worrying about when you were a kid, that is if you're not a kid now. You could be a kid listening to this and thinking, well, I'm still a kid. But if you're not and you're kind of more grown up, and you think back to when you were a kid and the things you were worrying about, those things aren't there anymore. Worrying about your homework at school, worrying about the bully, worrying about whatever it is, something your parents said, or you don't want to do this or that or the other, the chores you got. Maybe you went through some traumatic things, but they're no more. They're gone. They're in the past, right? So whatever we're worrying about today will very soon be in the past. And so it's just good to know that. Thanks, Belinda. You always have a way to get me on a tangent. And Pat, good morning, people. Peace sign, happy face emoji, much appreciated. Betty, good morning from Niagara. Thanks for joining us from one of the most beautiful places in the world. And Belinda, Carney flexing his muscles on tariffs. Things are about to get interesting. Yes, elbows up. Can he flex with the elbows up, really? Is it like, or is the elbows up, I guess, like this? Like they should have did that, elbows up, like, and flexing your muscles at the same time. But no, did you see that weird chicken dance they were doing there on the night that Carney won to be the prime minister, their celebration chicken dance with the elbows up? That was the weirdest dance I've ever seen. I don't know about you. Monique, good morning. Sudbury, thanks for being on. Sylvia, good morning to everyone. Nice day today. Have a good long weekend. Smiley emoji. Same to you, Sylvia. And Northern Hillbilly, we're almost in CBDC time. CBDC. Central Bank Digital Currency is what the acronym stands for. And if you haven't heard of it before, we're going to be going into a digital currency, getting rid of that money, that tangible money that you can hold on to. Everything will be ones and zeros. What could go wrong? Jerome, good morning. Glad you made it. Hope all went well yesterday for my family, and it did. And thank you for that. Marianne, you just love technology? Yeah, I can just imagine. Yeah, I do. You see what I go through along a lot of the times. And yes, my hair is getting long, and hopefully we'll be able to connect at some point and solve that problem. Disabled Kane. Denise, blessings everyone. Vin, morning. Denise, they say smoke, but I never smelled the smoke. But I'll tell you, the oxygen levels have been really low on those days. Now, Denise, just between you and me. Just between you and me here. Nobody else. It's hard to do on a radio show or a live stream over the internet, right? But I just thought for one moment, and I don't know, maybe it's me, and maybe it's just me. We had all these fires for all these years, and yes, there are fires, and yes, and we don't know how many are man-made. Lots of them apparently were found out to be man-made. A lot of the climate change people no. Climate change is the reason why there's fires. And I know it's controversial, is what it is. However, we know with weather modification, they can put all kinds of chemicals into the sky. And I thought, wow, you know what? If I was them, if I was an enemy to humanity, if I was an elitist who thought we needed to get rid of some of the lower serfs in the world, those people that are just useless eaters, as they say, if I was them and I said things like that, hey, let's make a bunch of fires one year, and then let's release the chemicals in the sky that make it seem like it's smoke, because they put things in the sky all the time, right? And it comes down on us. Can you imagine if they just it's a fake, it's a not real smoke, and they're just spraying it? That would be brilliant in my mind, filled with all kinds of goodies to breathe in. But yeah, definitely oxygen, lack of oxygen. You feel your eyes are burning from the dryness. And a lot of people will be thinking, it's nonsense. Why would anyone do stuff like that? I'm crazy. You're a conspiracy theorist, all those things. And I did say it's just a thought. I did say that. I said it just went through my mind. And if I was one of these elite people who called other people useless eaters, and if I could come back after life, what would I come back as? And I said I could come back as a deadly virus and wipe out most of the population of the world, which we've had elite people saying. It's the way they think, right? And if they had the ability to try to exterminate a lot of people, which they've been historically done, eugenics being one of them, and eugenics isn't dead, eugenics is alive and well. If I was one of these people, I would think that way. And I just thought, with all this smoke all the time, could they be possibly artificially spraying it instead of actually having real smoke? So it's just a thought. Just a thought. And remember, the views expressed on this show are that of my own, the guests, people commenting. They don't necessarily reflect that of Laurentian University or CKLU, right? So just me and you and whoever I play on the show or have as a guest. Should have had storms during the hot periods for sure. If they are able to manipulate the weather, you'd think, well, why wouldn't they just, when there's a drought, make it rain for the farmers? But it's odd that they don't, right? Right? Odd that it's always like something devastated, like flash floods and things like that, just And then you hear about all these droughts. And if we do have the ability to manipulate the weather, which we do, it's been around forever. Vietnam War was one of the first times it was publicized. The games, the Olympic Games in China, they made sure that the ceremonies didn't have any rain, so they manipulated the weather there. These are publicly stated events. You can go and look at them online. So if they have the ability to do that, then they'd have the ability to make sure that there was never going to be a drought again. Like they don't use these things in positive ways for the masses of people. So something, again, these people who pull the strings and have the ability to do these things, they think differently than you and I. And it might be about time for us to start looking into that and answer a lot of things. So Denise says, Trump told sovereign countries to clean up their act. And some of them are doing it, just waiting for Canada to do the same. We don't protect ourselves. There's nobody to protect us. Correct. Is that local smoke indica or sativa? Okay, so Hazel, they must have sprayed because now we're getting rain. Sure changed from yesterday, for sure, right? That's what I mean. And I looked, we're taking our little grandson on a little excursion, and I looked at the weather and I'm like, oh, it's going to be sunny all weekend. Now I got to look again and maybe make different plans. Who knows? Crazy stuff. So pay attention to the UFO story. They're starting to spread now. Could be starting of the Operations Bluebeam. Just remember, don't listen to the mainstream media or their scientists. Just do the opposite. So we'll have more on that later today. I've already had the Redacted had a special guest on their show talking about weather and a lot of these things we're just alluding to this morning. So if you are interested in what we're kind of just rambling, I'm ranting about, I guess you can say. Not too many people on anyway, so it's just a nice little group. Chicken dance. Yeah, exactly. So let's just, Hazel, good morning. Pierrette, good morning. Cash is king. Are we owners or are we owned? Diane, good morning to you. Thanks for being on. So let's just dive into a lot of the, headline. That's all we got today. Tons and tons. Headlines everywhere. Right away, Sudbury.com. Odd headline, odd story, but hey, we'll take it. Do natural remedies for depression really work? Sudbury.com. From St. John's wort to vitamin D, a major scientific review has identified a few promising natural treatments for mild to moderate depressive symptoms. And I know already a lot of the people who comment on this show and are on our Facebook and YouTube, they would agree. I would say 99.999% agree that natural remedies definitely have a lot to them, and we should be looking into it more often. Okay, so moving on here. So there's a couple of stories that are a little bit contradictory. So we had the latest headline from Sudbury.com saying that Trump injects new dose of uncertainty in tariffs as he pushes start date back to August 7th. As you know, it was supposed to be today. They were going to be getting like 35% tariffs, right? That was the headline they had at 4 a.m. But then at 7 a.m. they came in and said, well, because Trump changed his mind, I guess, and he's giving us a few more days. August 7th. So this is from Washington Associated Press. For weeks, President Donald Trump was promising the world economy would change on Friday with his new tariffs in place. It was an ironclad deadline, administration officials assured the public. Well, it's not that ironclad if he moved it to August the 7th. So August the 7th now. But the earlier headline they had here was in the news today. Canada is hit with 35% tariffs. So Canadian press reporting Canada hit with 35% tariffs on Friday. So that was at 4:15 a.m., but I guess they came 3 hours later. And now it's August the 7th. Impaired Sudbury driver charged after attempt to evade ride check. Ontario Provincial Police arrested and charged 37-year-old man July the 28th after he tried to avoid a ride check on Highway 17 Garson-Coniston Road. So, just to let you know, if the police are ever doing a ride check, it's probably not in your best interest to try to evade that. I think you got a bullseye on you if you're going to try to do that. Might as well just take it as it comes. The smaller alcohol producers, retailers urge Doug Ford to say no to store brand booze sales. Ontario is consulting with alcohol retailers and producers about allowing so-called private label alcohol products in their stores, while larger retailers are lobbying for it. Several industry groups have sent a letter to the Premier saying that they could hurt smaller retailers and producers. That's CBC this morning. And still moving on here. Some LGBTQ plus camps, summer camps, struggle to meet demand amid corporate fund drop. On the shores of Lake Huron, Harry Stewart and his husband, Chris Southen, sway back and forth in their rocking chairs on a wooden deck, watching dozens of youth play and laugh around them at Rainbow Camp. For more on that, you can read it on Sudbury.com. Right? So I guess the numbers are dropping with the corporate funding drop. So I guess that's starting to hit more close to home now. I know Toronto was the big story with the Pride Parade this summer, and the mayor calling out a few corporations and saying to boycott them. And there's so many stories coming out this morning. Like, these are all the stories that just came out, in the wee hours of the morning, like 1, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. So, getting to some of the more local stories. And Sudbury's demolition of Wacky Wings, it's took place yesterday. They're still continuing that exterior demolition of former Wacky Wings location on Shaughnessy Street. Took 3 days. And I think it's still kind of just wrapping up there. That's huge news. That's from Sudbury Star. Also Sudbury Star, SPCA opens a vet clinic at Collège Boreal, so people with animals. That's a big story for y'all, right? Myself included. SPCA vowing that they're going to try to help the veterinary shortages. They are reaching crisis levels, so the clinic is a step forward in addressing the growing needs. For more on that, you can read it on Sudbury Star's website. Both those stories coming from Sudbury Star about Wacky Wings and about the veterinarian services. Wow, man, that's just a tongue twister for me this morning. Vet services at SPCA. Greater Sudbury broke ground on 840 new homes in 2024. That's almost 3 times more than planned, leading to $1.52 million in funding from the provincial government. You remember the Ford government said, hey, build a lot of homes, we'll give you a lot of cash. And that's what happened. We tripled our goals and they gave us cash, cold and hard. $1.5 million to say, way to go, Sudbury. You did a good job, and here's some money. Socialism at its best, and that's what runs our country now, is government money, your money, just distributed through the government. And do we need more homes? Yeah. Do we have to do it that way? Well, that's arguable. But, we'll take free money, which isn't free money, which is our money, which is just distributed through people that we elect and their people they hire kind of thing, right? That's my pessimistic view of things. So that was from Sudbury Star, 840 new homes. Now, Sudbury.com story said we issued 833 permits. So a little different in there. And I was kind of questioning why there was a seven homes difference in the two stories. Like why I was saying 840, one of them was saying 840, and one of them is saying 833 permits. So where were the other 7 homes? They didn't have permits? I don't know. Just something I saw, a discrepancy in the two news outlets. Denise, good morning, everyone. All have a wonderful day. Stay safe and healthy. Like and share. Yes, for sure. It is Friday. It is a long weekend. It is supposed to be sunny. Now we have a chance of thunderstorms rolling in tomorrow, which weren't there yesterday or the day before. It is what it is. Okay, so lots and lots of local news. You can continue to find out all the local news on our local news aggregator, which is Sudbury.news. Very easy to find. You just type in Sudbury.news into your web browser or your search, your Google search, whatever search you use. You'll find the website, and you'll find all the local stories you need. Now, deep diving time. We're going to dive into Redacted's latest interview they had here with, just trying to get her name here again, and it's Kim Bright. So he's talking to Kim Bright from Bright Cove Nutrition, and she's basically talking about a lot of this, the weather manipulation, chemtrails, if you will, things they're doing, manipulating the ionosphere using some older technology from Nikola Tesla. And, it's live and well, but we don't hear about it a lot. And we wonder a lot about these weather events, these flash floods. Is it climate change is the thing that we want to usually focus on? That's the reason. It's not weather modification or weather manipulation or any of these things. And very good interview. I'm not sure if we'll have time to go through the whole thing. They get into other things as well to do with our health and these people that are kind of behind our health in positions of influence and power. And it's just important to know that how these things, why these things could happen, and make sense of the world. A very confusing world, getting more confusing as time is going on. But anyways, enough of that. Here you go. We'll be back right after this.
All right, let's talk about geoengineering. Let's talk about cloud seeding and the problem that won't go away. The government likes to tell us that we're crazy. They like to tell us that this is not happening, that you're an idiot. Or that fact checkers will tell us that this is not happening, that you're an idiot. The liberal media will tell us that this is not happening, that's not affecting our food supply. We've spoken to Dane Wigington here on the show from geoengineeringwatch.org. He's laid it all out for us, but they continue to tell us that we're idiots. Well, we now have proof from a number of states, Texas, California, Utah, Colorado, Nevada, Idaho, Wyoming, New Mexico, North Dakota, blasting chemicals into the sky to force rain, creating snow, suppressing hail, creating rain where there shouldn't be rain, flash floods. We saw the flash flood devastation in Texas, of course, horrible just a few weeks ago that killed so many individuals there, raging waters that came out of nowhere. And yes, there was chemicals being sprayed into the atmosphere near this area. But you're just a conspiracy theorist if you believe that, right? You're foolish if you believe that. Well, someone who, first of all, I believe it. Call me a conspiracy theorist. Call me a nut. The data is in, and the amount of chemicals that are in our food supply and ruining our bodies is now, it's now irrefutable. Kim Bright is is a co-founder of Bright Core Nutrition. She has spent her career pushing to make America healthy again, long before we even heard the term "Make America Healthy Again." And Kim has gone viral over the past couple of days, for talking about this geoengineering and all of these chemicals that have been sprayed into our atmosphere and demanding answers. So I wanted to have Kim back on the show to talk about this because, Kim, they continue to call us nutcases for saying that this is happening. What do you say to them?
I've been being called a nutcase for, half a century. Okay. But 30 years, I've been studying this kind of stuff. And, Clayton, thanks for having me back. But here's the deal. I like to deal in simplicity and truth. And a lot of people don't want to hear that. It's scary. And people don't know what to do when you hit them with the truth. But the truth is, look up something called HAARP. Go to Rumble. Anybody out there, look it up. And this thing is in Alaska, was backed by DARPA, Navy, and the Air Force. Back 1993, they built it. I had a friend, actually, who was up in that area, and big old lumberjack guy, friend, and he told me a story that they actually flooded the area because people wouldn't leave the small town where they were building this. I don't know if that's true. He told me that. But yeah, and they had guns, and they built these towers of these antennas, 180 antennas with trailers by them. Now, what this is these are what it's called HARP because it's High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Okay, look it up. And they're actually ionosphere heaters, is what they are. They heat the ionosphere up to 50,000 degrees. Okay, now. Chemtrails, real
safe.
Simple. What?
That seems safe.
That seems real safe, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that was under the tutelage of who I just said, the Navy, Air Force, and DARPA, until they cut back funding in 2014. Then it's been handed over to the University of Alaska. The thing about this is when these disturb the ionosphere, and supposedly they're just studying the ionosphere because they need it for the radio waves and to, have them go all over the world. Well, when you do this, you are really creating havoc because when you mix it with the chemtrails, what happens is these magnetic waves hit the chemtrails, and then they create, and you're heating the atmosphere to such a degree. And I'm not a scientist. I've just been looking into this for 30 years and studying it and trying to understand all this painting in the sky. It certainly wasn't there when I was a child. And weird clouds and the formations. I mean, if you look up what I said, you will see the creations that they've seen all over the world. They almost look like UFOs in some areas, where it looks like a hole and then there's a thing around it, and it looks like a UFO. And people have reported them as UFOs. And then you'll see these waves going through the chemtrails sometimes, and that's right before these big storms. In Japan, they can cause earthquakes, supposedly. The earthquake in Japan supposedly was that. Katrina. Different things. But let me tell you where these things are all over the world. And by the way, do you ever remember LBJ stating, "He who controls the weather controls the world"?
I didn't remember that was his quote, but of course we saw what happened in Vietnam and with the weather manipulation that, of course, led to the bombing deaths. They got stuck in the mud as a result of that, and it was all part of this project under LBJ. Right?
Look it up. I think there's a video somewhere. Look it up, see if you can find it. But I've seen it. And then Defense Secretary William Cohen warned of the dangers of eco-terrorism back in the 90s. Now, here's where these different ionosphere heaters are located. You can look these up too. Brazil, Peru, Long Island, Area 51. Oh, go figure. Puerto Rico. There's one near Fairbanks, Alaska, in the UK, China, India, Japan, Australia. Now, the one in Norway is called European Incoherent Scatter Radar. That's EISCAT, EISCAT. And we've got them near Moscow, in the Ukraine. And it's supposedly for study of the ionosphere. But interestingly enough, these things leave no trace. Just like, in Texas. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, there's a little company. A guy came on Fox News. I think you played that clip, and was trying to convince Will that on the Will Kane show that nothing here to see. But look who he works with. We got to pull the string. Got to pull the string back and find out who's behind these people, and why are they doing it? And look at where it is now. It's they're what is starting to be harvested soon. Corn, soybeans. Where are these storms going, Clayton? Over Iowa. I think that's farmland. And if you can create enough chaos, and again, we all have to ask ourselves, why is somebody doing this? And I think there's a lot of different answers of why somebody's doing this. But we all have to.
We have the confirmation. We have the confirmation of these companies in all of these different states. And we've had flash flooding in Colorado over the past couple of days. Colorado, where it doesn't really rain at all. I mean, it's the sunniest state in the country. Yep. Yes, even more than Florida. It's the sunniest state in the country. And you know it. You were born in Colorado. How much do you remember it raining? Flash floods
we used
on a
to
regular
say there
basis.
was like 352 days or 332 days. I don't remember. That used to be sun, So yeah, it is the sunniest state. But no, the whole thing here is we got some weird crap going on. And everybody's got to start looking into it and confront it. And even the other day, EPA, Lee Zeldin, secretary, he's like kind of diverting to, oh, no, they're contrails. They come out of, the airplanes that fly you and, to different places. They're still trying to cover up that there is something called chemtrails. And that, this is definitely something that is just awful and terrible. And
you fought your whole career. I mean, you pushed your whole career for a healthy food supply. I mean, that's what you've done. That's as long as I've known you. That's what you've been doing. So we talk about the chemicals here. I mean, like I said, we've had Dane Wigington on the show to talk about the aluminum, these different chemicals that are in the food supply.
Yeah, they're falling out of the sky from the chemtrails, aluminum, barium. And when you get enough aluminum in the soil, the roots can't stand. That's why we've got trees falling over. That's why you see the beetles invading in Colorado and killing all the pine trees back, 15 years ago in different mountain areas and in different other areas. Everything's being weakened. The roots of everything that's alive are being weakened by all of this chemical dump. And then we've got the microplastics being dumped on us too, So it's weakening our gut. It's weakening our soil, which is our microbiome in our gut. And, now, Clayton, they've got this new study that just came out from the University of Florida where they're trying to vaccinate everybody against cancer. Well, if you just take care of your gut microbiome, this is where what I truly believe is God gave us the things, the plants and everything on the earth to make us healthy. And you look at what is causing you to not feel well. You don't go treat the symptom, which is what Western medicine does. Time and place for Western medicine. You got a broken leg, you need Western medicine. But, even Robert Malone, Dr. Robert Malone, he discovered the mRNA, the messenger RNA. And he even says it's not a good platform. And now they're studying this to try and put it into mice in order to go after their individual tumors. And then now we're going to use this in humans. Go to the cause of why you have a tumor. Why do you want more drugs? And they're hailing this like, oh, well, then you don't have to use chemo and you don't have to use radiation and you don't have to have surgery. But they're going to use this in conjunction with other cancer drugs. So here we are. You either are going to have to decide. It's just like right now. We're dealing with good and bad in this world. And I'm not saying Western medicine is bad. I'm saying a lot of it you don't need if you want to get at the cause of things and take care of your gut, which is all where your health starts or your sickness starts. And so when you're going to substitute, now you're going to put mRNA in, which Discover says is not a good platform anyway, to address your individual tumors. They make it sound really great. why don't you just take care of your microbiome? Why don't you just beef up your own immune system? Because they're saying, here's his direct quote, these vaccinations, one of the doctors, Elias Sayor, he's an MD, PhD, and an oncologist in pediatrics at University of Florida. He says, and I quote, these vaccinations could be commercialized to universal cancer vaccinations to sensitize the immune system against patients' individual tumors. What's the key word there, Clayton, that you hear? Commercialize. That's
Well, they're going to make as much money as they possibly can.
That's right. It's all about the money. And it's being funded by NIH and other federal agencies and foundations. Who are these foundations? I haven't had the time to look into that, but somebody might want to look into that and see. You pull the string to find out where the money starts. You pull the string down and find out where the money starts. And the reason why people want everybody to go get vaccinated, just like they did with COVID. So what is really the reason behind all this? All you've got to do is take care of your gut microbiome. It's real simple. Pull it down to simplicity. The simplicity there is you got good guys and bad guys in your gut. If the bad guys overpopulate, you're going to get cancer. You're going to get sick. You're going to have heart disease, diabetes, overweight. If you take care of the good guys, they help balance out the whole body and help keep the body healthy and keep out the predators and the parasites, yeast, molds, and funguses. That's a simplicity. It's a choice. So that's where we are.
I was just reading the chat here, and Otis Rules in our chat says Kimchi One really works. Highly recommend. I wasn't going to do this, but your Kimchi One is what you guys make at Bright Core Nutrition. Love it. I take it every day. It's fantastic for your gut biome, detox your body. If you guys actually will answer the phone if someone calls you guys and actually wants to order some of your Kimchi One stuff. Is that right?
Yes, we will. We sure will. And it's going to help you get rid of those microplastics. It has special bacteria in there. Yes. And it's definitely going to help you a lot in this onslaught of what we're dealing with.
Well, I take it every day. I'll put the 800 number up on the screen here. It's 888-404-6312. Give them a call. Talk to Kim's team. She's been doing this for 50 years, and finally, we're turning the corner now on actually making America healthy again. Kim, I'll get you out of here on this. We saw Robert Kennedy over the past few weeks making some big victories. I have to say, of all of like the Trump related network right now, it seems like the major victories are coming out of RFK Jr.
Okay, so we'll just keep it at that just because our time is going to be far spent. And I know that some of you would have probably been like me saying, how do I get myself some of this stuff? And how do I work on my gut flora and the bacteria in my gut? Because gut health is at the core of just health in general and good health, period. And we do know that. That is very scientific. It's your second brain. Did you know that? Your gut has so much to do with your gut. Gut health is good health. Good gut health is good health. And it's something that you might not have even heard of. You're probably listening to this for the first time saying, wow, I did not know that. And it is so true. And your doctor will not tell you because they can't make money off you if you are well. And that's all the time we got for the show today. We really appreciate you. Hopefully you have a great weekend. Regardless of what the weather is, you can always make it great with whatever you do. And remember to stay safe. Take care. We'll see you same time, same place on the same platforms, God willing, Tuesday, because we're taking Monday off. So thanks for being with us and have a happy and safe long weekend. Remember to stay aware, like, share, take care, and stay tuned now for Earshot Daily on CKLU 96.7 FM. Have a great weekend, everyone. Ciao for now.
This is Sudbury News Talk on the morning shift.